Bunny crew, welcome back to Captain Jasper. Today I thought I'd talk about head tilt in rabbits. How to spot it, how to treat it, and how to care for a rabbit who has a head tilt. As many of you know, little Alice, or baby Al as we like to call him, suffered from a pretty severe head tilt back in June. He's now almost back to complete health after only 2 months. I'm going to be telling Alice's story and going through the main ways we helped him get better in this video. There are 2 main ways that a rabbit can develop a head tilt. By an inner ear infection like Alice, or the more scary one in my opinion, E. caniculi, or EC parasite, that affect a bun's brain and liver. These parasites often cause a permanent head tilt due to the bugs eating and damaging the brain, although once the bunnies are clear of the parasite they can often lead a great quality of life. Head tilts due to ear infections, like Alice's, often get better or correct themselves over time, once the swelling from the infection goes down. If you suspect your rabbit is suffering from a head tilt, it is essential that they seek veterinary assistance from a rabbit-savvy vet to get the correct treatment. A rabbit suffering from an ear infection will need antibiotics and painkillers, whereas a rabbit suffering from EC will need an antiparasite such as Panacur and painkillers. Stay tuned to the end to find out exactly how Alice is doing after 2 months of recovery. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to join our bunny crew. As a prey species, rabbits will often try and hide when they are ill. This is why it's essential to know their normal behaviours. So when Alice started acting a bit off, I knew something was wrong. He started taking himself off more and not wanting cuddles, which is very unlike him. When he wouldn't let me touch his ear, I knew something was wrong, and we booked an appointment for the vets. Both myself and the vets were concerned this might be the start of an inner ear infection, which is very common in lops. We started him on a course of antibiotics and painkillers, and sent away for tests to rule out EC. Even though we started Alice on medication before any of the major symptoms started, it got worse before it got better, which is also very common. After starting medication, we noticed Alice losing his balance a lot more, his eyes began twitching, and his head tilt became extremely severe. He would also convulse in the air and then spin uncontrollably, and would need somebody there to hold him still until he could calm himself down again. This was extremely scary to see. One thing we were extremely lucky with was Alice never lost his appetite. He's always loved his food. Most rabbits with a head tilt will go off their food and actually lose weight during the recovery, but Alice actually gained weight during his recovery, as all he wanted to do was eat. In the first few weeks of his recovery, he would have good and bad days. Some days he'd just want to lay there and eat, and other days he'd be up trying to explore. The first week of his recovery was really tough. We weren't sure if he was going to make it, and we all did a lot of crying. In the beginning of his recovery, Alice was really good at taking his medicine by himself. But once he started feeling better, he decided he didn't want to take it like this anymore, so I had to sneak it into his food. I would put it onto lettuce leaves and his oat treats, which made the whole experience a lot easier when he didn't want to be syringe fed. Me and Alex took it in turns looking after him, as in the beginning he needed constant care. He needed help drinking, using the toilet, and eating. Another reason Alice needed constant care was because he kept convulsing in the air and then spinning uncontrollably, and he would need somebody to hold him still until he could control himself again. This made everyone very worried, especially Fred. He was always such a good boy though, and would wait patiently with me until Alice felt better. When this started happening, I would often put soft blankets and duvets around his carrier to give him a soft landing in case I wasn't able to catch him. In the first few weeks, Jasper barely left his side and was very concerned that his brother wasn't moving. Sometimes he would go over and gently nudge him to try and encourage him to move. I noticed when I scratched or pet Alice's good side, it would really help him correct his head tilt and start being able to groom himself independently. If your bunny is bedbound like Alice was due to a head tilt, I highly recommend that you keep them on a bed of hay. In the beginning I was keeping Alice on some comfy pillows and blankets and lined with puppy pads, but this caused his wee to go all over him. The hay is much more absorbent and kept him much cleaner. In the first couple of weeks I was actually having to help lift him up so he could go pee. But when I wasn't able to do it in time, the wee would often get all over him. I would simply get a damp cloth and just wipe it off gently. Never bathe your rabbits, as it can cause them to go into shock. I was also having to wash Alice's eye on his tilted side with a damp cloth as well, to try and keep the dirt out as he wasn't able to wash it himself. The vet also gave me some antibiotic eye cream just in case. Me and Alex were taking it in turns, staying up through the night to look after Alice. We both didn't get a lot of sleep, but it was worth it to see Alice slowly improving each day. One thing that really helped Alice was taking him outside to eat grass in the garden. This really helped him correct his head tilt and begin to move again. When Alice started moving around independently, we had to move a lot of the tall things that he could jump up and down from in case he got hurt. Now he's able to jump up onto things around 30 centimetres high and jump down independently. Unfortunately, towards the end of Alice's recovery, Jasper began to become a bit aggressive towards him, and we had to separate them. Luckily, this didn't last long and they rebonded pretty quickly, as I think Jasper just missed having his brother around. I also don't usually use water bottles for rabbits, but due to his head tilt he wasn't able to drink from a bowl, so it was necessary. After just 2 months, Alice's head tilt is almost completely corrected, and he's able to get around so much better. He can still be a tiny bit wobbly on his feet, but he's getting stronger each day. Here's a compilation of videos I've taken in the last week of how much better Alice has been doing. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to turn on your notifications as we have a very exciting bunny sleepover video next week, along with some more tips on bonding bunnies.